Today is Wednesday, the 27th of February 2019, and the program is Summit. Thanks for joining us again today. I am Jumoke Michaels. I am specially excited this morning. I'm sure Banji is excited the same way because we have finally concluded on the 2019 elections.
No, not the National Assembly and presidential election.
Yeah.
National. You can't be as excited as I am. Already. You know why?
No bloodshed.
We're very minimal compared with the previous elections, and somehow seamlessly we have been able to get a winner of this, at least presidential and National Assembly elections. Of course, there are issues here and there, and these are the issues that must be actually be looked into for subsequent elections.
And that's what we're doing this morning.
Lessons from this just concluded National Assembly and presidential elections. So, Jumoke?
All right, without wasting much time, we'll go straight into our discussion this morning. First of all, we'll be looking at the lessons learned from the presidential and the National Assembly elections. So please, we'll go on a quick break. We'll be back shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back. Thanks for still being there. Joining us for the discussion on the lessons learned from the presidential and National Assembly elections, we have the presidential candidate of one of the parties, Providence People's Congress, PPN. PPC. I'm sorry, PPC. Mr. Victor Ohai. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for
Thanks you for being here.
Thank you.
Let me not ask you anything again yet. Let me introduce the second person. Also, we have an attorney at law, Okenna Nebedum, a public affairs analyst. I actually asked to be able to pronounce it well.
You got it right.
I got it. Okay, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us on the program. You're all welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, elections are just about 4 or 5 hours ago. INEC was able to give us the winner of the presidential elections. Before today, we've been getting results of the National Assembly elections. Some people are saying 5 days after election that the results was a bit belated, that coming 5 days after the election had taken place. Now that was rather too long. What's your reaction to that, first and foremost?
Well, thank you very much. Considering that, what you call them now, Senegal had their election, I think a day after ours, it was on Sunday, and the very next day they had the results. Some might argue it's a smaller country, but no. The thing is that elections are concluded at every polling booth, which means the votes are cast, they are counted there, so you know instantly, okay? And so what is left is transmission to the local government and state headquarters, and then from there to Abuja. And of course, this could have been taken care of because in the electoral bill, as amended, that the issue of electronic transmission was there, but the president, for whatever reason, decided he won't sign that electoral bill into an act until after the election. So here we are. But even at that, I expect that, all of the movements would have been concluded within a day, and then the collation at the national headquarters should have been concluded at the latest by Monday night, because they are there like 24 hours, but it dragged, and that created some lacuna, because whether you can say created room for speculation or whatever, but I mean, you can't rule out anything. There was argument that that perhaps they were monitoring the results as were coming in, so that there can be padding or whatever the case is. There may be some element of truth, but even if there's not, you can't rule it out, because we have created room for speculation, and for it to have come about 5 days down the line is not, in this age and time of technology, and I think it's not reasonable.
All right, let's have your own opinion on still that same question.
Okay,
Your overall opinion on the just concluded election.
to Nigerians, we always settle comfortably with mediocrity when we are not offered the best that we ought to have gotten. And you see Nigerians say, let's even have it like that, since we even had the election without violence. You understand? Our leaders, they've led us to that point that when they do roads and gets corrupted, and that means cut out your money and you are left with a little infrastructure. You say, okay, this one even did good. Let us even, so you keep on condoning impunity, you keep on condoning non-performance, you keep on condoning things that were not done on merit. And like you mentioned, our neighbors here, Senegal, did. Not only that they had their results the following day, but their diaspora citizens voted. So I don't know what will keep us away from having an election where 80% of your voters belong to age 18 and age 50. Because that is what came out from the statistics that came out. The ages 18 to 35 were 51.1%, while ages 36 to 50 we are 29%. So if you're doing business and 80% of your clients are not taken care of, who else do you take care of? Why not take your services to them? These are the age that handle the Android, the handheld devices. So technology is the way to go, the way I look at 2023 election, so that you even generate some kind of affinity between the votes I have casted and the results you are announcing. Because if there is that delay, it gives room for not only speculation, it gives room for manipulation. A world-renowned politician once said that those who cast their votes do nothing. They who do the rest are those who do the counting and collation. And collation has been so muddled up with the same way we have bureaucratic bottlenecks. If people cast their votes here, why not have transmission done electronically? You know about how large Nigeria is. That is even why I had to take that long. Somebody from Maiduguri had to either by road or by flight get into Abuja with those materials. And what if anything happens to the person? And then after taking it handy, you go and enter it into a computer, and then why not get those things done at those levels? Must we get to Abuja to have our results? But as it is said in Nigeria, thank God there was even an election. Okay. Thank God that the election is not so bloody, but let Nigerians lay behind them all that are in the voting and face forward.
All right, now let's hear from Mr. Victor Hai. You are
one of the actors.
Yes, yeah, so one of the major actors here. Now we have some of the one of the candidates, the PDP candidates saying that they want to go to court to contest the result. Are you of the same mindset?
Well, it's a right of every candidate, if they're not satisfied, to go to court. Some may choose even if they're not satisfied.
Are you of that?
Whether I want to go to court?
Yeah, whether you.
No, what's your are you satisfied with the conduct?
Are you satisfied with the conduct?
The conduct generally, no.
No.
And that's not to say that necessarily by my performance I could have won, but that's, I mean, an example that I would usually give is, I mean, you could be a first-class student, okay? But if along the line you compromised, either you cheated in an exam or you resorted to self-help along the way, when you're being presented with your certificate first class, which you probably would have gotten anyway, it robs you of the sense of joy because you know that it's been corrupted. Now, will the incumbent have won? Possibly yes, maybe possibly yes. But you know, when you see what has happened along the line, I see a situation that is like a script that has been well crafted and masterfully executed. You know, first, the end has been seen from the beginning, and whatever happens right now, if you're not satisfied, go to Tanko. Whatever that means, you can interpret for yourself. Because Onoge, up till now, has not been removed officially, but he's been edged out of the way, conveniently. Okay? For whatever reason. And I laugh when people say, oh, when they accuse you, just resign. This is not a country where you should just resign, because people accuse people maliciously and expect you to just resign. You understand? Because you are innocent until proven guilty. Now he's out of the way, and who are we going to meet? You go to a tribunal, the head of the Court of Appeal, her husband has a dog in the race. Her husband is an APC senatorial candidate.
And you say you have issues?
Wait, no, just a minute.
You have not established that you have issues.
No, let me explain. I'm throwing, so that when I say, if I say I have issues, it's just vague. But when I finish, you will understand whatever it is I'm saying. I'm preparing the grounds for whatever issues I may or may not have. Okay? Now, so you go to the appeal court, you're going to be faced with somebody who you are not even sure of. Okay? Now, you go to the Supreme Court, which is your last resort, at least for the presidential. Who do you face there? You know, even that has big question marks. And then, right now, we're not so sure that the postponement, because having said several times that the election will not be postponed, they have everything they need, they are well prepared. You want to ask yourself, so what happened in the dead of night that all of a sudden you decide to change? A night, the day before, couldn't you have known if there were problems? Couldn't you have prepared people's minds so that even the spokesperson said at that point that, you know, that they were not postponing, you know? And then 3 a.m., 5 hours to the election, suddenly you postpone. Who does that? Okay? And then when you see the way things have been, plus the delays, in summary, it leaves room for a lot. There's room for a lot. I mean, how do you say, a lot to be desired? I've forgotten how the terminology is. But you see, whether or not they could have won fair and square, right now the whole thing is so muddled up that the dress is no longer clean. The victory is no longer what it should have been. Whether they won or not right now, I don't see them as
are you saying you are not convinced with the...
It's not a convincing victory. Let me just put it that way. It's not a convincing win.
Okay, one of the vice presidential candidate of PDP saying that in the southeast that about 8 million people were disenfranchised.
Yes.
Did you have any of such experience? Your party?
No, but I mean, he was speaking about voters, so it's not about the party now.
Yeah.
You know, so he spoke because that's probably a stronghold, you know. But if it affected them, then it obviously affected us as well. So the thing is that there are strongholds. It happened not only in the southeast.
So which areas are your stronghold?
Me? I'm for Nigeria. We have not had a previous history to determine exactly where our stronghold is.
But there are
we do
complaints
that
from people who would have voted for you that they were not allowed to vote.
We had a few cases like that. Yes, we had a few cases like that.
Okay.
Where voters were intimidated. You cannot even talk because you are in a stronghold of probably somebody else, and then you are like a lone voice there, and you can't do anything. You are helpless.
All right,
the
Mr.
military cannot, the police cannot help you.
Let's just hear from Mr. Okin now. We have another election coming up in about a week's time for the gubernatorial and
State
assemblies. Now, what do you think that INEC can still correct that will make that election better and
more credible?
More credible, so that people will be more happy than what we had in the presidential election.
I'm very sorry to disappoint anybody if what I'm going to say is sounding pessimistic. There's nothing to expect that will change the game like the way it has happened last Saturday. I say so with every sense of responsibility, taking cognizance of logistics, taking cognizance of the voter intimidation with military, and then also taking cognizance of the fact that our governors here are like emperors. Some of them are stronger on the grassroots more than what influence a president could have done. That is just a simple truth. And they run the state like an empire. They dish out appointment, they determine who goes to Senate, they determine who goes to Assembly, they determine who goes to the council, local council, as a councillor, or who becomes a local government chairman. So you have 36 or about 30, because the election is not going to happen in all the states. Some states have already had the election. Some are going to have their own election after the general election. So I am seeing a situation where they will replicate the same pattern since and until we have been determined to, rather than take technology to help us, we have determined to use bureaucracy. The bureaucracy we were talking about that is killing us in governance. We've taken it to conduct elections. It is going to be the same way. Even I anticipate that there are going to be more violence, because that really there's going to be more violence because this time it is where the cake is baked. It's more local. So you anticipate more violence. But all I'm praying and all I'm asking Nigerians, election is election, not war. Prosecute it like you enter the game of football, or like in any game. There's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser. But don't, like you said, don't have an end in mind and must want to foist that end on a process that is so glaring that even whether you are unpopular or whether you are not accepted, you just want this candidate, or you just want to perpetuate yourself with a second term for governors that are going for second term, or for governors that are not going for second term, that my anointed candidate must win, and all those. It is not a fight. That is the encouragement I'm giving out there. But for INEC themselves, we witnessed 2011 election, the first that was conducted by the former Professor Jega. He had the privilege of conducting 2 elections in Nigeria history, more than anybody that has ever headed the INEC or whatever. But they have NEC, they have NECCON and all those stuff. But when he was there, when he was there, he had the benefit of conducting the 2011 election, and at 2015 election, you can see very glaring how he upgraded the systemic way of gathering the identity of voters and bringing technology into it by streamlining the process of accreditation and making it electronic. So if you understand that end, because there are 2 sides to voting. One is the identity of the voter. So he established the fingerprint stuff and then created the electronic reader machine, such that by the time we get you registered, we have your biometrics. That your biometrics, what evidences it is the permanent voter's card you have. You bring it to the polling booth on the day of election, they pass through verification and to make sure that it is the person who holds that card that is actually the person who has presented himself to vote. But you remember very well that before the 2015 election, people went to court, public opinion was almost against that card reader machine, that it is not, that it's electronic. But there are also lawyers that argued, and I believe they argued correctly, that the Electoral Act merely recognizes electronic database, but not electronic voting. So I had expected that the present INEC, taking off from where and all the gains of 2015 election, would have upgraded, and which they did by the National Assembly passing the 2010 Electoral Act Amendment Bill. And in that bill, it was upgraded that, yes, settled, the card reader machine is for accreditation of a voter. Then a system that recognizes electronic voting was to, play out in this election. And they also made provision for electronic collation. After identification has been done, vote is done, and then collating, such that you don't have manual, a situation where somebody begins to gather papers. Or in that respect, you take violence away. But in fact, you make it unpopular for anybody to go and hijack the ballot box, because by that time, electronically, those data are entering into the INEC database, such that you don't see a situation where somebody, or in a particular polling unit, you don't see a situation where the number of voters exceeded the number of accredited voters.
So based on this summary, you don't see anything different?
Based on this, I don't see anything, since they are not introducing any technology. Since it is the same logistics, since it's the same process of manual gathering of stuff. So the governors who are in control will still call the shots. Those who are about or leaving, or who are about transforming themselves into the Senate.
Let me quickly chip in this. In Oyo State, the incumbent as a governor of Oyo State was actually lost in his constituency, that's a senatorial contest. If he could actually call the shots, would he not have won that election?
But people also have their say. People have their say. If he's unpopular, he will fail. I'm talking about a situation where
it can be undermined by people if you're not.
Yes.
Okay. Something unprecedented. The mightiest people. Individual candidates whom people thought could never lose any election, lost in this election.
They also thought that Dino would lose.
We also thought that Dino would lose.
But
does that not actually confer some credibility on this election?
Not necessarily. I think you're referring to someone like Saraki, for instance. Saraki has always been a target for whatever reason, of the government. So he was bound to. And in any case, he has been there for so long, and sometimes you might be in position and you become
become the problem.
Insensitive to feelings around.
But he has congratulated the winner. If he felt shortchanged, he would not have gone.
No, that's not the question you were asking. The question, you said the party will do whatever it needs to do. So it was just being chivalrous by doing that. But the question to me is whether it is possible, or why some incumbents being upstaged. Exactly. So that is the question. It's not whether he congratulated or not. Don't forget that a senator now does not have the powers of a sitting governor. You understand? You may argue about Ajimobi, but Ibadan has always been strong. Ajimobi was the first sitting governor to be re-elected, in Ibadan. So Ibadan politics is very strong politics. There are too many strong men there, okay? And so there are traditions in certain places. But whether some people win or lose does not necessarily mean that the process is either credible or not credible one way or another. The thing is, the whole system, there are a few places where things may have gone on, okay, but the two leading parties are very experienced riggers, and so wherever they can, they have rigged themselves. So that's what is playing out. All
right, thank you so much. That's
so you are not likely to congratulate the winner of this election?
Are you asking me to?
No, I'm asking, would you, I mean, as in the spirit of sportsmanship,
Yes.
would you go ahead to congratulate the winner of this election?
Let that be my decision.
Okay.
You will hear.
All right,
you will
please,
hear.
that's
You will hear.
That's all we'll be
You
having
will
on
hear
this.
from me very soon.
Very soon.
All right. All right, so please, that's all we'll be taking on this segment of the program. Thank you, Mr. Victor Hai, the presidential candidate, PPN. Providence.
PPC.
I lost many votes because of that. As a matter of fact.
PPC. I'm so sorry, I should have corrected that. Providence People's Congress. I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, it's fine. It's okay.
All right, and an attorney at law, Mr. Okena Nebudu, the public affairs analyst. You're welcome. And thank you also. Call you once again, you join us.
Of course, the conversation has just started. We'll have a cause to bring you back to the studio.
The agenda for his second term.
Yeah.
So
All right, so we'll take a quick break to bring in our next guest on the program. Don't go away.
Death to life, fame to glory, failure to success, violence to peace, darkness to light. Oh, let's keep praying, let's keep confessing positive about Nigeria. Because now only God is there.
Celebration every day, prosperity everywhere.
God loves Nigeria so much, He has blessed Nigeria so much, with plenty mineral resources, with plenty human resources, with plenty money, with plenty ideas. But we are suffering amidst plenty, we are dying amidst plenty, because some bad people pay for government now and before. They steal the money, them they play us for you, whether they like it or not. Nigeria be better hold.
You're welcome back. It's still Summit. And on this segment of the discussion, we'll be discussing ahead of the gubernatorial elections in Lagos State. And joining us for this discussion, we have the All Progressives Congress Publicity Secretary, Lagos State, the person of Mr. Jeo Igbokwe. You're welcome.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good to have you on our program.
It's good to have you.
And congratulations on the presidential elections.
After almost 18 months.
I'm
delighted
to be here.
Yeah, I'm delighted to have
This
you.
is my studio.
It's your
People
program.
are asking me what happened. We don't see you. You don't know what happened over here, but you know.
Thank God you are here. We must also congratulate you. Your party has just won another 4 years at the presidential level. That's 4 plus 4. That's what you wanted. So what's your rule? Can we capture? We actually saw the president at the campaign office in Abuja, and he was visibly excited, very jubilant, and interacted excitedly amongst party people. Yeah. And in his speech, he said, "Oh, you people will go ahead and and be happy and celebrate, but don't over celebrate, because for him the battle is not fully won." So what's your mood?
Well, my mood has always been, if you have followed me right from day one, I've never had any feeling that he's going to lose this election. Because I know that what is going to play out is integrity and honesty and service to the people. So I've never had any shred of doubt in my mind that he's going to win this election. The moment Atiku came into I know he said walk away. It's going to be one, even though he showed some strength.
He showed strength.
It's not somebody.
He's too close to call.
But I know where the votes are coming from. And those who don't like the president to do a decision otherwise. I never expected that he would get close to that. I was thinking that Buhari is going to run away with about 7-8 million votes. Difference. Because I just saw the New York Times this morning. It said, honesty. Relationship with Buhari is
New York Times.
Yes, honesty was determining factor. Honesty and integrity. You just said honesty.
All right, let's bring our discussion to Lagos State.
Yes.
Now we have the gubernatorial election in a few days. Let me just say days, and looking at what happened in Lagos during this election, some places in Lagos actually had issues of violence, ballot snatching, and burning of votes. So what's your view on that, and what should we expect in the forthcoming election?
See, Lagos is always we always put the template down for others to follow. But I don't want to talk about what happened on Saturday, because it has never happened in Lagos. And there's this center of civilization, center of excellence. But in the coming elections in New York, I know it's going to be just a walk away.
When the presidential was so close, the votes were close.
It wasn't close.
Close to
4 million.
No, I'm talking about the Lagos State.
Lagos.
I'm talking about Lagos State.
No.
Less than 50,000 votes. So would you say you are comfortable with the score that is scored at the presidential election?
Well,
does that show APC has greater strength in Lagos State?
We have. I don't know why we got that few number of votes. This is not Lagos that I used to know. But because of the cancellation and all that, or that some areas something happened, I don't know. But I'm very confident. There's nothing anybody can do about it. So walk away. We're going to win.
But your gubernatorial candidate could not actually deliver his polling unit. I'm saying that if he could not deliver his polling unit, what does that suggest about the level of acceptability?
We win. We will come back here again.
How? You want to
not only that he couldn't deliver his polling unit. Your candidate is actually a new face.
It's not a new face.
He's not like Ambody that is coming back. You have a new
come back if he
you have someone, a new person, so to speak.
He's not.
Now, how do you think that he has already gotten a grip on the people, especially through his campaign?
He has been in this
still
system.
Because of this
he has been
election.
He has been in this system. He has been a commissioner. He has been an MT. He has been a special advisor. He has been a banker. So these are the things he's going to bring on the table. And APC Lagos is a brand. And we don't put just anybody there. The moment we put somebody there, is victory. Because we walk. When others are sleeping, we walk. Forget what happened. Don't use what happened last year. This hour was a presidential election and then National Assembly elections, and we cleared almost all our National Assembly seats. And we understand what happened, what played out. So
in the areas that you lost.
Yes, we don't understand what played out, and I don't want to discuss that here. But all those votes that we lost will come back Saturday. But we know what happened because P2P was on the ballot as vice president, and people are making Lagos. There are also many indigenes of Lagos who felt that, who sometimes disappointed us anyway. But it's only Igbo votes that we saw. That people who prefer that to quick, especially the Christians, they were pushing me that, Buhari is a jihadist and all that. Just hate. Just hate. Nothing more. Nothing more, just hate. But I thank God the man pulled it. Because honesty, most of those pastors are not honest people. They're not. They're not. These are people that have caused serious problems for us in this country. They're not. And that's why I'm very happy about this election. That all their predictions, all their prophecies failed them. Because there's no meeting point between light and darkness. No meeting point. So next Saturday you're going to see it from there. And people told us, those of them, especially the South, this is Lagos is.
I remember you said one of the interviews I had with you said your people, particularly from the southeastern part, have learned their lessons based on what happened in 2015. This time around, they will not want to be in the minority at the national level. But you just said they chose the same pattern. But in the coming election, are you sure they will be able? How trustworthy you think, or how confident are you that they will not betray you? So to speak.
They don't have any other option than to vote. And they even told us, they even told someone that they will vote for him.
They told someone, look,
because of our campaigns, all the markets that we visited, they said, look, because our son is in the ballot, as VP, and you know it's not a small thing. If Atiku had won, we wouldn't be talking about it now. We would have taken a better decision because VP is going to be an Igbo person. So it's politics, and we have to say it that way. And they told someone that they will come back in next 2 weeks. Just like what happened in 2015. That in 2011 when Jonathan won in Lagos, there was almost panic. And they showed us that next week they're going to put Fashola there. And they did. In their thousands. So the same thing will play out.
I know sometimes Asiwaju said the Igbo people should actually reciprocate the good gestures that Lagos State has extended. Do you think that message actually sank?
Well, of course. If you talk about Lagos Igbo as Igbo people are critical stakeholders, serious stakeholders, what they have in Lagos, they don't have a pot of it in the land. And don't forget that this place was the capital of Nigeria for almost 86 years. And everybody was there. So, until it became Lagos State. So these things, structures, investments, have been there right from day one. So, and everybody's here. There's no decent person, any successful person, anywhere in this country that don't have one or two things to do with Lagos. It's a kind of a city where a colorful city where you have all kinds of people. So what I'm saying is that, overall, is that coming in the next few days, we'll see them come. Because we speak to them. I said yesterday I was in a meeting, many of them. They promised that whatever they have, that they will vote so because the other party is not a choice.
All right, our last discussion segment, one of our guests was saying that, he apologized for sounding pessimistic, but he said that he expects that there will be more violence in this gubernatorial election because
it's local.
Yeah, because it's local and they have more grip on the grassroots people, and then they want to instigate them to go all out to vote for them. Do you see that playing out?
It's not going. It's not going to happen. I'm not an optimist. I'm an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. So always look out for. I'm sure we have these few days necessary to cross the T's and dot the I's, and then strengthen security, because security is important. We talk about snatch ballot box and die. People still snatch ballot boxes. People supposed to do it. We have been shooting and killing armed robbers. People still going to armed robbery business. So you prepare yourself. In a dynamic state or country like Nigeria, you still have this. You have to. Security is an issue. It's a very important issue, and we have to make sure that we have a very successful election in the coming days.
One of the campaign slogans of the opposition, the major opposition, is that free Lagos. and they're also talking about democracy in Lagos. And that thing is actually gaining some kind of ascendancy. Do you think Lagos is, I mean, you've always countered by saying Lagos is not in bondage. Are you sure Lagos is not?
Where is the bondage? Where is the bondage? We tried for 16 years to free Lagos from the bondage PDP put it into. In 1991, when Atiwaju came, he tried to build Lagos Power Station. It was stopped by the federal government. That's number one. Number two, we tried to build Fourth Mainland Bridge. It was Ogunlewe and the Guruduma that stopped it because it was the federal minister. That bridge would have been standing there because we got a consulting of Chinese company, to do it. Using their money and to recoup the money, they stopped it. They stopped it. It was the same PDP for 16 years that seized Lagos local government funds because they created that 7 LCDs. And that money was not overseen, even their own son. It was their own son that seized the money. That money was not returned until Yaradua came. What money was not paid until Yaradua came and paid that money. It was PDP. Bola Ige, one of the priceless songs that we have in Southwest was killed. There was no passengers at Fonini General. The passenger could not find the class. Though that we were arrested, they said they were free. And the wife heard about it and cried and died. Up till now, we have not been able to find the killers of Bola Ige. Obasanjo, a PDP man, rose to power using Abiola's mandate. He rode on the back of Abiola's mandate to become the president. He was 8 years in office. He couldn't mention Abiola's name in any discussion anywhere. He forgot about the family. He forgot that the businesses were destroyed. He forgot about the children. He took another from down. I came and said, look, we have wrong this man. Recognized him to have and gave him GCFR. So who is free? Do you know what it took Lagos State to get this BRT on the Ikorodu Road? BRT on the Ikorodu Road, because it's a federal road. Do you know how many times through our Fashola tenure he pleaded with the federal government to grant him permit to build Airport Road, to give Lagos International Airport the national outlook and the international outlook? They never did it. It was when APC won to 15 that it was granted. That's why Mode is doing it. So who is freeing who? I can give you 50 reasons why Southwest does not like PDP. That's why they cleared all the Southwest.
But they voted PDP in your state. PDP won.
That is.
Anyway,
they don't like that is presidential election. I've told you the reason why we saw some of those votes.
Okay.
It's not going to repeat itself again. So which freedom are they talking about? This one that said his name is Jimmy Agbaje. Is it what is
his name is Jimmy Agbaje.
What is he going to bring to the table? He studied pharmacy in the university and left university close to 35 years ago. And he's running one pharmacy shop in one location in Apapa. No branch anywhere. He has never done any other thing. Do you know that Lagos? I forgot to tell you that Lagos is the 5th largest economy in Africa.
But what would Sanwo-Olu do? What would Sanwo-Olu do?
Differently.
I mean, what would he do differently?
He has a deep knowledge of Lagos. He has an understanding of the dynamics of Lagos State. He has been in the system just like me. Experience matters. If you don't have experience, the world, think about experience, It matters. You that is coming, what are you going to bring on the table? You are talking about a man who has been a commissioner, a banker, currently the MD of Lagos Property Development Company. He was the commissioner for Estab. And he has also served as a special advisor. So he has a whole lot of things to bring to the table. You can't compare Captain Johnson and
In the last election, you won. APC won by just 100,000 votes.
No, it's 165,000 votes.
So, okay.
If you line up 165,000 people, they will fill Ikorudu from Ikorudu to Apapa. They will fill
100 plus.
165,000.
How wise would the margin be this time around? I'm only asking.
I will come here. I will come here. You know, Tomorrow has done the kind of campaign we have not seen in Lagos in recent times. Robust campaigns, taking it to the people. And then, in Lagos we set the pace. Others will come. And Lagos will never fail.
All right.
Lagos will never fail, yes.
Lagos will never fail.
All right, so we look forward to a new and better Lagos after this election. And we wish you the best in the forthcoming election.
No, there will always be updates. No, you always come before the update.
We still have one program before the election anyway, so we believe that.
No, we'll talk about it. I'm coming next Thursday. Next Thursday before.
We'll always come.
Wednesday.
No, we'll come Wednesday. Yeah, we'll always update us.
So I'll tell you, by Wednesday we would have cleared the ground. There's no contest.
We'll ask whether there will be. People are saying Otoge should go round. Whether Otoge.
I said APC should also. I just recounted.
There was something Para should replicate itself.
I just recounted what we have done in Lagos. Bring your own.
See you again on Monday. Bye bye.
All right, bye bye. That's all we can take for this edition. My name is Banji Busari. Bye bye.
MITV, the soul